everybody, and welcome to another edition of Tech Talk Tuesday. I am your host, Colleen McCartney, and I am excited to be here with all of you today. Hold on one second. I forgot to paste the title and description in the Facebook Live. You gotta love when that happens. All right, and there we go. Okay, great. We are live now. Woo! Okay, so I'm really excited to be here today because we're going to be diving into some of my favorite stuff. So first off, I know it comes as no surprise, I got a new toy. So we have some really cool new workflow actions, and we also are going to dig into the foundations of automations, right? So today's training is about automating workflows with Nerdly. So we're going to be diving into our foundations of form funnel flow and dive into some advanced workflow action steps that are now available to you. Whether you're building systems for your own business or looking to expand your agency's offering, today's session will show you how to leverage automations for scalability and efficiency. So I am super stoked. Let's get into it. And if you're a Nerdly client, you just go to the training calendar and you'll have the link to join me on Zoom. You can ask your questions in real time. Otherwise, we'll also have this in the client portal afterwards, and we'll be building mini courses on each of the trainings we do. So let's start with the foundations of form funnel flow. Then we'll dive into advanced workflow actions with our tool, all the apps, and a seamless alternative to Zapier. So let me know in the comments, who uses Zapier right now, or Make, or Pabbly, or any of those other automation tools outside of your native system, right? You're paying a subscription fee for them, and it's a potential point of failure, right? Oh, mascara. Whatever. And right, it's super sucky. But if you can have things working for you on automations natively, that's going to streamline your operations. It's going to reduce points of failure. And when you follow our form funnel flow process, you're going to ensure that your client journeys happen every single time, right? So if you're an agency, stick around to the end, and we're going to talk about how you can elevate your service offerings and unlock additional revenue streams. And then we'll have a Q&A. So let's go over our key concepts, right? We want to collect our leads from our clients, right? So we're going to have to use either a lead capture form, an onboarding form, feedback surveys. We need something to capture their information, right? So if you already have their information, that's a different story, right? But we need to make sure that we actually capture their information. So your form needs to include their name and email address, bare minimum, right? That is the only way you're going to be able to differentiate the contacts. Now, you can use phone numbers for some different automation pieces. However, email is the singular point of truth about identifying a contact. Now, after you have your contacts in your database, you can use really cool things like trigger links, which will trigger the automation just by them clicking on it. Shalane, if you actually go, if you log in, there's a Nerdly resources button at the purple button at the top, and it'll have the direct Zoom link for you. So where is it? Form funnel flow. You take your, and yes. So if you don't have your contact in your system yet, you need to make sure you are using a form to collect their information, right? Now, there are other different triggers that some more advanced stuff we'll get to in a bit. Every single contact you have that comes in needs to be on a form, whether it is a standard form, survey, quiz, or even a product order form. It's all basically the same thing. You need to be able to collect their name and email, and that's identifying that contact, right? If you don't have the email on the form, even if you already have them in your system, well, how is your system going to know who that is, right? So emails are going to be what you want to use there. Now, for those of you who have used high level before, or any funnel system, right? You can send the naked form out, and there's some new advancements in that, so it's not so bad now because we have their branded API links. However, when you're looking at delivering a client experience, what do you want them to see when they're filling out this form? Do they need a video that provides context or guidance on what is needed to be filled out in this form? Do you want to curate what they're seeing, what they're feeling, what they're experiencing when they fill out this form? Right? So that is all stuff you can put on that landing page or funnel page or site page. Those are all basically the same. Just no one gets caught up in verbiage, right? So if you have a form, you can put additional information around it so that you can ensure they know what you're asking about. Then you can redirect them to another step in that funnel or even another funnel, right? And these can be based on them just submitting the form, or it could be based on different ways they answered the questions on the form, right? So this is why we prefer to do things in funnels. That's when you put them on a funnel, you also get additional stats. So I'm going to show you guys now that we've talked it through, right? And then, so form, funnel, flow, then flow, we need to have, this is both that funnel journey, the flow of what's that customer journey, and we need the automations behind it to make sure that to power it all, right? So again, form, we collect the information. Funnel, we place the form in a funnel and curate the client journey. Flow, build the automation behind that powers the journey, right? If you're running an agency, integrating these principles into your service offerings can help your clients scale while setting your agency apart. If you're interested, our affiliate programs makes this even more rewarding. So let us dive in and let's do a demo of this, right? So we're going to do over here. Okay, cool. So we're coming over here. So we're going to go into sites and we're going to go to forms, right? So we start with a template, right? We have our Nerdly template form. Why do we have a template form, do you ask? Let's look at it. So we're going to duplicate this and we're going to call this, nope, not that. Form, funnel, flow, training. All right, so the reason why we have a template form is so that all of our forms are standardized, right? And not only are they standardized, but we ensure that they're compliant. This is such a big deal right now, you guys. So right now, if you don't have your actual information in here, you're not compliantly gathering information. Additionally, you want to make sure your privacy policy, sorry, I clicked that, and your terms of service are on your forms so that you can say, yes, not only did they opt in, but they had access to my privacy policy and terms of service. This is not a sexy thing. However, this is in fact a legal requirement to compliantly obtain people's contact information to market to them. Now, I know a lot of you maybe not have the biggest business, so you're like, oh, it doesn't matter. It does, right? Unfortunately, a lot of regulations are happening and it's going to be affecting the little guys more than the big guys, right? So let's make sure that we do things right from the beginning. This is what we're all about at Nerdly, making sure you're set up for success and making tech simple, right? Plus, you get to format things, right? Like I get to have a border around my buttons, they're colored, they're branded, and this way each form looks the same. It makes life so much easier, right? So if you have questions on that, just comment compliance and we'll nerd out about that. So here you got to decide what is required. I always separate out first and last name. This way it ensures that they're put in the right place, especially if someone has like a hybrid last name, or maybe they go by like Mary Sue. And this way it ensures that they're separate and it ensures that you get more likely to get a first and last name. So for this one, we have email required and phone required. Now you don't have to have it required. I'm actually going to teach you guys something. So as you grow your business online, you will find that you get more and more. Let's go edit this. International clients. So on your form, where you're selected, have the phone drop down, you're going to want to make sure that you have enable country picker, right? If you do not have this, that means that, here we go, enable country picker right here. If you do not have this enabled, that means if someone from another country goes to fill it out, you're going to get an error, which means that, like, if you try to text them, it's going to be an error, which we don't want to do. All right. Okay. So, and I need to share this screen, which I just realized I was not doing. Cool. So here we go. Let's actually share this window. Right. So we've got our form. Let's come on over here. We got our form here, form funnel flow training. For this one, I'm just going to have name, email, and phone. Right. Now we're going to go over to our funnel. Right. Let's see, templates. Oh, those are junky templates. Never mind. Opt-in. Let's just borrow an opt-in form. Great. Wonderful. We're going to duplicate. We're going to clone this, and we're going to call this form funnel flow training demo. All right. So now we have a funnel. As soon as it loads. All right. Now we can, in fact, now that they have the branded APIs. So let me show you what that looks like. So here, if I want to share it, I can copy the form link. And now you're going to see links.nerdly.io/widget/form/ a bunch of gobbledygook, right? So this is, see this URL? This is what people see if you do not put it on a funnel. And if you don't have a branded API set up, then you're going to send out like app.whatever your white label is, or api.gohighlevel.com. It's just not a sexy link. It doesn't look, it looks a little spammy, fishy. So just make sure that you have that set up. Okay. So here we have the opt-in page, right? So this is where we can actually communicate to them, right? This is, you got to realize that when you have a funnel, you're communicating. This is a way for you to have a conversation with your audience, right? So when they come here, right, what are they seeing? What are they feeling? Like, what are they understanding? So this one is about a training we did about high level plus group track. Shocker. That's what we train on a lot over here, because we try to teach people how to use organic social, because we teach you how to build real relationships on the internet to grow your business, right? Okay. So you can see this button. What it's going to do is it's going to scroll to the element of the form. So now we're going to come down here to this form. All right. And then we're going to go into the form, and we're going to say our form funnel flow. See? It aligns. It's on brand. Wonderful. So we're going to save this. We're not going to publish it because it didn't add a domain. However, you can see the redirect action is to go to the next step. Right? So thank you. We have a thank you. Here's the next steps. Where do they want to go from there? Do they want to join the group, start a trial, or book a call? Now, what you can also do here is put a video, giving yourself the opportunity to connect again visually with your clients, right? So look at what a difference if I were to fill out this form, right? And then I get a thank you. Now, if I go over here, where I have a whole lot of information that's communicating to me, providing context, instilling confidence in me that what I'm about to, instead we have, this is, instead of just a form, we have a whole page. This is able to communicate with me. It's able to instill confidence that you'll be able to teach me something, and that I'll be able to get the value of what your offer is, right? That is the whole purpose of putting all this information on a funnel page. And when I fill it out, then I go to this thank you page. It really just changes the whole client experience, right? It's a lot more robust. It's fuller. You can put testimonials. You can put photos of your team, right? Like it gives you a lot more of an opportunity to connect with them. All right. So last but not least, flow. Now, when it comes to the flow, right, we want to make sure that we are starting there's a couple, well, I'm going to keep things easy and we're just going to do the basics, right? So for whatever reason, this is still spinning. It's always fun when tech be teching, man, right? Tech be teching sometimes. Okay, so now we come in here to the workflow. And we're going to start from scratch. Yeah, I mean, honestly, people give me phone numbers all the time. Lisa, it's just a matter of in the system, even if you have their phone number without an email, it won't always pick up the contact. It's super weird. So for your trigger, you want to do form submitted. Now, if you want a Nerd Plus, you can in fact do custom field changed and just the field that they submitted. If you have an additional field, you can have that trigger it. However, for this example, we just did contact information. So we're going to need to make sure we select the form submitted and then filter down to form is form funnel flow. So what I'm also going to do here is update the workflow trigger name to the form funnel flow form submitted. So this way, if I come in and then I'm going to name this form funnel flow training demo build workflow. Anything I can do to provide myself more context about what this is, what my other teammates might think it is, right? So that it's findable and understandable later on. So now we can do a couple of different things. So I always start with add to notes. So we're going to say form funnel flow form submitted. And then we're going to say attribute right now. Date. Right, this way we know the form was submitted on this date. And then we can also, but we only ask for contact information. Now, if you had asked for additional information, right, you could come down here to those contact custom fields and put in whatever custom field is on that form. So that is also on here, right? So this is just adding a note to the profile. I always like adding notes in automations. This way we have a note on the contact of when something was actually specifically done. Next, we can add a tag, right? We're just going to add a tag. We're going to say for opt-in form funnel flow. And then here, we're going to then have an email because we have to provide the deliverables, right? So now they've submitted the form. We're going to come in here from account name from. Now, if you're using multiple users, the reason why we use account name is it's this way, no matter who's doing it, who they're assigned to, it's all going to come from the same place. And then form funnel flow training, right? So here you just put whatever you want. You could put links, you could put attached documents, you could also use a template, but this is what's powering your thing, right? So this is what's required, the form funnel flow. Now, for those of you who are on Nerdly, or if you want to learn about these advanced things that you can do, I'm super excited about this. Okay. So, and if you're interested, we're going to be having more trainings on this available for purchase. But so now what I can do is say, for an example, we have, let's grab another automation, or actually we can just clear these out. All right. So we're going to say order submitted, right? So pretend a client purchased something from you, right? So we're going to say order submitted, and we're going to say for global product is, we'll say Nerd Herd, right? They purchased a product, right? So now what I can do is because I have this thing called All the Apps. It is an agency level tool. It allows us to integrate with just about anything, right? So you can see all of these standard and even like this is a high level provided native premium workflow action. We've got some send data premium actions, and you'll see all sorts of craziness in here soon, right? So we have Printful. We have the agency stuff, ignore that. But if you guys use ratings, you got ratings links. But the ones I want to talk about today are things like ClickUp. So you can say creating a task template, create checklist item, create checklist, create subtasks. So when someone purchases, say like they purchase your coaching program and you have tasks that need to happen for their experience, you can create them automatically based on their purchase, right? And this is going to cost you maybe a couple of cents, right? So premium workflow actions, if you're not familiar, right? That is something that High Level has to offer, and we have some even more advanced premium workflow actions, which is pretty cool. What I will tell you that you have the option of is you can get bundles for $15 a month, and that will get you, I think, like 1,000. But it's much cheaper, much more streamlined than using Zapier, right? So you can do all these different tasks, from creating a task in time, deleting a task comment, update task comment, right? So think of it this way. You can have someone submit a form and then it creates the ClickUp items. You can also do all sorts of variations. You can adjust your stuff here, right? You can use dashboard tools. You can create QR codes. So if you run events, say you run an event, like you're doing a mastermind, or you're doing a retreat, or you're doing a speaking engagement, and they have to buy a ticket, you could create a QR code in the workflow for them to check in, right? Or you are a QR code about 1,000 different things. You can create deep links. You can also leverage Zoom. So if you're doing a webinar and have people register, and Zoom will tell you how long they've been in there, you can now take all that data natively and bring it back into here, right? If you have a team who works for you, you can run Clockify automations, right? If you use Basecamp for your task management, you can use that. And what's really cool is there's so much more, right? So when you're using stuff like this, it's going to really open the potentials for what you can do, right? It's all about what are the operations, what's happening in your business that you need to have automated, right? So there's all sorts of different tools we've got in here, right? And there's even more. So with that said, I will actually be providing trainings. So if you want to dig more into automations, you want to learn about the form funnel flow, and have more of a deep dive about what we talked about today, comment, automate, and I will let you know when that is ready. So what we're doing moving forward is we'll do about 2 trainings. When we do a live training like this, I will be taking the replay and putting it in the Nerdly community group. And that is our client portal. Sorry, let me make sure I'm saying this right. So if you go to portal.nerdly.io, you'll be able to get in there. And for those who wish to do a deep dive, we'll be having mini courses for each of these topics, so that you have the opportunity to dig deep on it at an affordable price. So with that, let me know if you have any questions about what we covered today, and later, nerds.